We are taking a look at GMKTec's first laptop called the Gbook. Let's get straight on with the unboxing. We start the unboxing with a user guide which is in English and Chinese. It shows the Gbook's functions and tech specs. Inside the box we have a 65 watts charger and power cable. We will include the correct plug adapter for your country. Next is the GMKTec Gbook itself. We will show it in more detail shortly. Underneath is a carry case for the Gbook. It is a woven fabric case, so it wouldn't protect from drops, but definitely would against scrapes etc. The GMKTec Gbook measures around 12.3 by 8.5 by 0.4 inches and weighs 1.3 kilos. Lifting the lid reveals the 14-inch IPS display which looks great. It has a maximum resolution of 4K 60Hz, which is something not often seen on smaller sized displays. There is a camera in the bezel which can be physically blocked with a slider if privacy is a concern. The 720p image quality is pretty good and definitely suitable for online meetings. The lower half of the Gbook has your standard low profile backlit keyboard. I wrote this review using the keyboard and it's perfectly fine to use for extended typing sessions. Below that is a touchpad for mouse input with clickable areas for controls. You will notice the small square in the top left area. This is the fingerprint sensor for securely logging into Windows. On the left side of the Gbook there is the power port, USB Type-C, HDMI output and one USB 3.2 port. On the right side is a 3.5mm multi-jack, two USB 3.2 ports and a micro SD card slot. When the lid is open, the hinge design raises the laptop a little off your work surface. This is primarily to assist with good airflow for the cooling. It does make it a little more comfortable when typing as it rises towards the back of the keyboard. The GMKTec Gbook features the 12th generation Intel i5 with 2 performance and 8 efficient cores, with 12 threads running up to 4.4 GHz at 15 watts TDP. The Intel Iris Xe graphics has 80 execution units and runs at 1.2 GHz. It is a competent graphics card, not suited for gaming, but it does perform very well for day-to-day tasks in the home and office. There's 16 gigs of DDR5 RAM which is on board and can't be upgraded. There is a 1TB M.2 SSD included, and you can add a second SSD via the compartment on the back. For communications there's Wi-Fi 6 and Bluetooth 5.2. There's a 51.3 watt hour rechargeable battery which in our test running Cinebench on full load lasted just over 2 hours. We also timed it sitting idle on the desktop and got around 7 hours battery life. As always in our reviews we like to do some system benchmarks to see how well a device performs. We got a PassMark score of 3611 which is around the average score. Breaking down the scores we can see that the processor got above the average with 12K. The 2D and 3D graphics tests are where this laptop falls below average, but remember this is not a gaming laptop and is perfectly fine for any other task. The scores go back above the average for the memory test, and for the storage test it is in the very high percentile with nearly 25,000. PassMark performs a series of tests for your more day-to-day usages, from web browsing to working with large office documents. We got a score of 4,986, which is an excellent score. We can see that 2 scores are also very good, but we do get a lower score with the image and video media tests. 3DMark tests the performance of the CPU and GPU working together. We got a very respectable score of 1,342 on the TimeSpy benchmark, 3,610 on Firestorm, and 12,259 on Night Raid. It's definitely capable of some very light gaming at the least. Cinebench is a CPU test which can test either single or multi-core performance. On the multi-core test we got a score of 5,404. It is around the expected score for this processor. We saw from the PCMark results some great scores for the storage speeds. We done a quick run of CrystalDiskMark which shows read speeds of just under 3.5 gigs and write speeds of 3.2 gigs. Both are very high speed and you would notice the difference in large file transfers, for example. Whilst this is far from being a gaming laptop, it can run some games just fine. As a test, we ran the Forza Horizon 5 benchmark at 720p on the very low graphics settings. We got a fairly impressive 37 frames per second, which is enough to keep the game playable locked to 30 FPS, with some minor dips in performance now and again. Something a little simpler, but equally as fun. Lower demanding games do work great. You can run them at higher resolutions and or graphics quality and get some decent results. The recently released Minecraft Legends is running well above 60 frames per second, and the great Turtle Shredder's Revenge runs perfectly. So whilst it's not a gaming laptop, you can sneak in some light gaming after work hours. Overall, the GMKTec Gbook is a great laptop for your day-to-day workload, whether it be at the home or in office. The size and portability means that you can take it on your daily commute in a laptop bag or backpack. And the decent battery life should last you an average amount of hours before it needs recharging. We like the form factor of the Gbook. The 14-inch display at 4K resolution looks amazing whilst watching videos. You may however find dropping the resolution to 1440p for other tasks makes everything a bit easier to see if you are not scaling the screen. The Intel processor is great for your day-to-day tasks, from something as simple as browsing the web right up to working with large office documents or light media editing. We saw great results on the benchmarks and the Gbook is perfect for this. There was nothing we really did not like. The Gbook does exactly what it is supposed to do, with a little extra on top if you want some light gaming on the side. You can learn more about the GMKTec Gbook and order yours today at DROIX.co.uk and DROIX.net for worldwide shipping. Use the discount code GBOOK5OFF on the checkout for a 5% discount. The code may expire after 1 month and cannot be used during sales or in conjunction with other codes. That wraps up our review of the GMKTec Gbook. We hope you have found it useful. You can avoid missing out on our latest reviews by subscribing to the channel and pressing the notification button. Thanks, and we hope to see you back in our next video.